Rock and Joe. Rock and Joe. Rock and Joe. Rock and Joe. Rock and Joe.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Rock and Jouv show.
Welcome back. We hope you guys missed us.
Back for a special trade deadline episode here.
We got a lot has happened in the NBA. This was the biggest trade deadline day in NBA history. Maybe not by the size of the deals, but just the number of deals that got done. I think the number of players dealt the biggest. So we're going to have a pretty big show. We're going to have a pretty big show if you ask me.
Yeah, it just didn't, I don't know, somebody told me that and it just didn't really feel that big.
No,
I guess
it
really
didn't.
it was just because of the caliber of players that were going down. You know.
And like there were some big names that didn't even get dealt.
Yeah.
Your Kyle Lowry's of the world, your Kyle Lowry.
Yeah, exactly. That was the flagship,
everyone
but
swore.
perhaps
DeMar
we'll get into
DeRozan.
him in a little bit. DeMar,
Kyle
yeah.
Lowry.
The old
Kyle Lowry.
Raptors boys. But let's start, I guess, with one of the marquees of the day, which was the Magic trading Gordon to the Nuggets.
Do you want to give each team a grade?
Yeah, I'd like to do a grade.
All right.
That's a good idea. Just right off the dome.
Right off the dome. So
You want me to start?
I think, yeah, this isn't saying how many. The NBA tracker is just saying future first round picks, so I'm just gonna assume that's 2. I'm sure there's protections all over it, but
Right. So
yeah, you can go ahead. I think the haul's not bad though.
Gary
What do you
Harris,
have to
R.J. Hampton. R.J. Hampton was last draft, right? He's a rookie.
Correct.
And then let's just say 2 future first round picks. And then the Nuggets get Aaron Gordon and Gary Clark. Look, I've never been a big fan of Aaron Gordon on this podcast. I don't really see him doing a lot. I don't know. His numbers don't really impress me. I think he's a similar player to what Blake Griffin was, but just not as good. Blake Griffin was just very athletic, could dunk the ball. And now he's developed a shot. But Aaron Gordon hasn't hit that stage in his career yet. So I just always have thought he was kind of a lesser Blake Griffin. And
Yeah.
now we see how Blake Griffin turned out. So, I think Gary Harris is not bad. I think he always averages right around that 18, 19 range.
Not anymore. Oh,
No.
no. He did. In his prime, like him and Jamal Murray, what's a debate which player they should build around.
Totally.
Gary Harris kind of, at least offensively, fell off. He still has a lot of value defensively.
Gosh. Yeah, well, I know he's been hurt
this
a lot
year,
of
dude,
this
he's
season.
under 10 points a game.
Wow.
And
That's-
last year, I think he hovered around 10.
That's kind of shocking.
It is, dude.
I guess I just had always assumed he was doing his job, but I guess he has not been. So, yeah, I don't know. This trade is kind of a wash to me. I don't think it makes anybody better. Surprisingly, I think I don't know. I don't really see it pushing Denver.
By that, honestly, I think it's a good. I mean, Aaron Gordon, he's a solid player. His numbers aren't jumping off the page. I think he's at like 15-ish points a game and like 7 rebounds. Pretty good defender. I mean, obviously incredibly athletic. With Jokic basically out there running point center, I mean, that could be kind of fun if Jokic is out there throwing Aaron Gordon lobs. Your 2 big men are doing stuff like that. I mean, that could be fun. And he's a decent shooter. He's got kind of a weird like line drive jump shot. When he's hot, he's hot. He's a decent scorer. And then Gary Clark is kind of, he could be a plug-and-play role player if the Nuggets need him to do that. If not, they might just try to develop him along with some of their other young guys. But I'm just going to focus on the haul for Aaron Gordon. Gordon's kind of always been one of those players that's going to be like, oh, this is going to be his year. Watch, he's going to break out. He's going to break out. And then he kind of, this isn't his best year. I mean, he had some other better years, I think, where he was doing like 18 points a game and shooting good percentages, but 2 first-round picks. I mean, the Gary Harris, he's making a ton of money, so that contract isn't desirable, but the Magic suck. They're not going anywhere. Let's be honest here. So if you're a team like the Magic, you can afford to take on a contract like Gary Harris, and only playing in Orlando, I mean, that's not really like a destination like, I don't know, LA, New York, Boston, Miami. That's not what they are. So they can afford to take that on. And then RJ Hampton is a nice, good young guard.
Well, here's the thing is the Magic are clearly in a rebuilding stage. I mean, they didn't get so they ended up getting a center from the Bulls, which we'll get to later, but they got Wendell Carter Jr.
Yes.
even though they're totally at a logjam in that position.
Dude,
but
I still
regardless, so now they bring in Gary Harris, and I can tell they're trying to get younger. I understand, but I don't think they got necessarily the right pieces.
Yeah, I
to
really
move
think
forward.
they did this. I really think they did this for the future first round picks. Like if they were hyping up Aaron Gordon, they were trying to make him like one of the best guys at the trade deadline. Oh, look how underrated he is. He's really good at defense. And they're trying to drive up like the Boston rumors, and I think like every team that could be a potential buyer was linked to Aaron Gordon. So they did a good job of drumming up interest, but I think
Yeah, well, he had said that he wanted to be in a Celtics uniform.
he was like he did.
And I did not want him at all. I really didn't. I don't really believe in his game at all. I don't know. I'm not impressed by him. I don't think he's a fantastic shooter. I don't know. There was no room for another forward on our team.
It would have been kind of weird. It would have put it would be, I mean, Brown would be would be forced into playing the 2. Tatum would be forced into playing
that's what
the
he
3.
was. I know in college that's what he was at 2, but I don't know. I had wanted I had wanted a center. We didn't get that. I guess we technically did, but all right. So overall grade for the Magic, I'm going to give the Magic a B+. What about you?
I actually was thinking the exact same thing. I'll give the Magic a B.
Yeah,
I'll give them a B+.
I'm
I think
just
the
thinking,
only reason that it's not an A or A- is that they didn't. They have to take in the Gary Harris contract, which he doesn't make sense with that team, and they didn't get Bol either.
Yeah, I'm going to give him that B+ because they got 2 future firsts and RJ Hampton, which I think is really the diamond of the deal. You know, that is pretty valuable
100%.
that they got. So that they get a B+. To me, the Nuggets, I don't know. I'm going to have to give them a worse grade. I'm going to have to say they get a B. I mean, they do get rid of Gary Harris's contract, like you said, and especially if he has 10 points a game, he's not producing. They had to give up 2 future firsts. I bet those are, protected.
I'm sure they got some protection on that.
Yeah. So, and then they get Aaron Gordon. He could be one of those guys that just plays really well after he gets moved. So I think that's what they're hoping for. I didn't really think that they needed anything at that position. I think that they're really going to depend on Michael Porter Jr. at that position. So I don't know why they took the flyer on Aaron Gordon. To me, you're going to want to see Michael Porter Jr. excel. I don't know if he's going to, I don't know how that's going to work, but I'm going to give them a B. What about you?
Yeah. I don't think we're going to agree the entire show, but I was thinking to give them a B as well. It's not a bad deal necessarily. Aaron Gordon he has the potential to be a ceiling raiser for that team. After Jeremy Grant obviously left in the offseason, they kind of had a hole at that 4 spot. So Aaron Gordon definitely shores that up, and then getting Gary Clark is just kind of a throw-in. He hasn't been too impressive.
Sure.
I give them a B. Just sure, they did unload the Gary Harris contract, and he could be a valuable role player, but it's not at that much money. They gave RJ Hampton some first, so they had to give up assets to get a decent player. They get a B.
So the Heat acquire Oladipo from the Rockets. This was another pretty big one. Everybody knew that Oladipo was unhappy on the Rockets. Rockets were losing games. I think Oladipo's a free agent next season. They wanted to get rid of him. So the deal is Oladipo to the Heat, and the Rockets get Kelly Olynyk, Avery Bradley, and a 2022 draft swap. What did you think about this?
All right, I'm gonna try to keep it as clean as possible, but this is an absolute debacle from the Houston Rockets. An absolute debacle. Yeah. I know Victor Oladipo, he was coming off the patellar tendon tear that it took him a while to get back, and honestly, he hasn't necessarily gotten back to full speed, full strength, but he's still a very good player. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So the Heat are just adding, you could venture to say, a third star to that team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, not really lately, but sure.
Like, he could be a third star. I know he had another thing recently where like he hurt his leg, but he came back from it. Like, he's playing now again. So I mean, Victor Oladipo. We said Aaron Gordon potentially a ceiling raiser. I think Victor Oladipo definitely could be a ceiling raiser for this Heat team. I'm not exactly sure how the fit is going to be, especially with a month or so left in the season.
This was a little confusing to me because, okay, so you bring in Oladipo, who's not really historically a great defensive player, and you bring him into a team that's also not a very good defensive team other than Jimmy Butler and, Bam.
Well, I mean, Oladipo was a good defensive player.
Yeah, but he's
in
lost
his prime.
that step. He's lost that
Yeah.
step. He's not a great defensive player anymore. So now your starting lineup, I'm pretty sure it has, I don't know, Jimmy Butler at the 4. Like
Dude,
it's not. Yeah.
I do not know what their starting 5 is going to be unless they're going Oladipo off the bench.
No, I don't
But
think
I
he
don't
can.
think,
So
I think it'll be Kendrick Nunn because they like to start him and go Dragic off the bench. But whoever, Dragic or Nunn, starting point guard, Oladipo with the 2, and then you're taking
you have
Duncan
Robinson at the
out of that
3.
starting lineup.
No,
And
no, no,
Duncan
no.
Robin.
They said he was starting at the 3.
Oh my God!
So then you have
Butler's gonna
Jimmy
be playing
Butler at the 4. Yeah. So that's the issue then is now that's a terrible defensive team. 1 through 3. And I mean you're guarding Kyrie, James Harden, you're guarding Jaylen Brown, Kemba, Ben Simmons, you know what I mean? Kyle Lowry, like Fred VanVleet.
And
Like that's 1 through 3.
Especially if you match up against a Philly, right? So you have Ben Simmons.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably not throwing Victor Oladipo on Simmons right now. He just doesn't have that step defensively.
Right.
So you're throwing Jimmy Butler on him. Jimmy
sounds
Butler's going to
like-
be playing power forward, and
Yeah.
and Ben Simmons is going to be playing point guard. So you're going to be throwing Duncan Robinson on Tobias Harris. You're going to be put in.
It sounds to me that that Jimmy Butler, that this Heat team will live and die by Jimmy Butler because it sounds like he's going to be guarding the best player on every team.
Yeah, and they're going to have to hope Bam is protecting the.
Yeah,
Life out of that rim.
he's going to have to be guarding. I don't know I don't know if they really will, but realistically, he will be guarding Giannis, Tatum, KD. Like he's going to have to be guarding those big guys,
Randall.
and then also
Randall.
and then putting up. But really though, Randall, and then having to put up 20, 25, and 6. Like
Dude, you remember that picture from the finals last year?
yeah, exactly.
That's going to be him, bro.
Him hunched over the
That's going to be
stanchion.
him.
So ultimately, if I had to, and then they lose depth. They lose Avery Bradley, who could defend, and Kelly couldn't defend, but he could shoot. And then they got rid of Myers Leonard, who wasn't playing much, but he could shoot.
I think Myers Leonard's time in the NBA is probably done at this point.
Yeah, he's probably done, but just meaning like they shipped out quite a few pieces.
They did, and I think they were really banking on LaMarcus Aldridge. We'll get to Aldridge later, but all signs there were verified reporters that were like, "Oh, LaMarcus Aldridge agrees to a buyout. Will likely sign with Heat." They thought they were getting him, right? So they thought their starting 5 would be Nunn, Oladipo, Butler.
Yeah, but
Maybe
they had
if you
to
start
know.
Aldridge to bring him off the bench.
Don't you think they knew? Like you have to know if you're a team.
Originally, I know, and I think they're probably still going to look on the buyout market. But now, who are they going to get? Really?
I don't know. So ultimately, the Heat for this, I'm not a huge fan of this. I'm gonna have to give them for picking up Oladipo. He's not just that big of a name anymore. I'm gonna give them a B minus just to make it interesting. I'm gonna give them a B minus. I don't think this was a great move for them at all.
I'm gonna give them an A minus actually, and the
Okay.
reason why is just because the Heat need some kind of shakeup. Like they're a couple games under 500 right now. They're just, I don't want to say terrible. I don't want to say trash, but a lot of people, including myself, thought that they would be one of the top. I don't know. I would say at the very least 4 seeds in the East, and they've just not lived up to that at all. But so you get Oladipo. That's definitely something to come shake things up a little bit. And quite honestly, they gave up borderline nothing. Avery Bradley is washed up.
Yeah.
Washed up.
No. Yeah.
He was providing nothing for their team. A lot of people thought that would be a good signing. It wasn't. Kelly Olynyk is a weird player where he doesn't provide too much besides spacing the floor at the 4, and it's like a tough player, but I really only watched him kill the Knicks and do dog feces against most other teams. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then a 2022 draft pick swap, the Houston Rockets will likely be selecting with the first overall pick in that draft.
Right.
If their lottery luck goes right. So that means literally nothing. I remember the Knicks last year, they negotiated some pick swaps in the Marcus Morris deal, which was kind of funny. Because everyone's like, the Knicks are garbage and the Clippers are probably going to win the NBA Finals. But I think we got a future pick swap, which that one could actually end up being interesting.
You know what? I'm gonna have to bump up my rating. You're right. I mean, Oladipo ultimately is scoring 20 a game.
B-. No, you said
I'm going to go up to a B. I'm not going to go much higher, but I will say that it is better. You're right. They really didn't give up too much. B- for a 20-point per game score. It's just I don't think he's going to stay there. So I don't know. It is what it is.
And the funny thing is, I saw something so funny the other day that it was like, I think if Victor Oladipo's not surprising to everybody, it looks normal just because of all the photoshops that everybody was doing on him for the Heat for years.
Right.
And it's true. It just made sense,
What about
the Rockets?
The Rockets, yeah. So they knew they were going to get rid of Oladipo in the offseason. They said, hey, we're not going to waste any more of this guy's career right now. Like, let's let him go play for, a contender. And in return, we'll just get some players. I think they, I don't know. I can't really blame them here. It's like one of those things where they were like, what did you want us to do? Thing. It's not like they could have pulled off a magic trick.
So what grade do you want to give them?
I'm going to give them a C+. All
right. So here's what I'm going to give them right now. I'm going to say you can blame them, and I will give them an F-. F, not just F, F-.
Okay. And I don't blame you. I can't blame you.
And here's why. First, they were like, oh, Victor Oladipo, we want you to stay here. We'll give you, this is the most we can offer you. It was like 2 years, like 40-something million because of some weird contract clause. Please stay. And he's like, nah, I'm all set. All right, we want 2 first-round picks and some young players in exchange for Victor Oladipo. And then he tweaks his ankle. We might not trade Victor Oladipo. We're going to try to see if we can work something out. And then he comes back. We'll trade Victor Oladipo. And then I'm just going to look at this. I have no idea how many years are left on these players' contracts. Olynyk, Bradley. I don't think it really matters because even if Bradley and Olynyk have years left on that deal, I don't think they're at any point going to become assets. I'm pretty sure Olynyk is a free agent. So he might even get bought out.
Bring him back to Boston, baby.
Honestly, could see it.
Avery
Bradley, if he signed a multi-year deal, you're just going to be paying him next year probably to watch TV and eat popcorn on his couch. And a 22 draft pick swap. So essentially, you traded a player, a 2-time All-Star. I know that he's not prime Oladipo, and he definitely has to prove himself in Miami a little bit, but you essentially get nothing for him. And this dude was the centerpiece of the James Harden trade, which was absolutely ridiculous. You came on this show, and we both ripped the Houston Rockets for how ridiculous it was. Honestly, I know Harden didn't want to play there, but the haul was absurd that the Nets gave up nothing to get one of the 10 best players in the league,
right?
To add to a team that already had 2 stars.
So you're
and the
really
other teams facilitated it. So they could have been like, no, we don't want to get any other teams involved. We'll take Karis LeVert, even after they found out he had the whole thing with his kidney. We'll take Jarrett Allen. You know what I mean? LeVert's 26. That's not too young. And Allen, I think, is 22. But these are all right, 2 younger guys. They could at least fill the seats and maybe be a little bit to build around for.
They really did screw it up.
If I look at this, if I'm the Knicks, the equivalent of this is like Elfrid Payton, Taj Gibson, and a pick swap or something. I don't even know.
Yeah, it's bad.
So that's whatever.
So let's go to a good trade. Celtics add Evan Fournier in a deal with the Magic.
Yes.
This was pretty, if you don't mind, I'll...
Okay. Yes. Please go first.
I just wanted to say, initially the deal was just Evan Fournier for 2 future second round picks. That's how crazy it was. I didn't even say it right. So 2 second round picks for a 19 point per game score. he's not going to change the franchise, but he's going to be a bench scorer, or maybe he'll start some games. I don't know, but he's going to give you 15 points, 12 points a game, pretty easily. He can handle the ball. He can shoot off ball, catch and shoot. He's a good 3-point shooter. Just like a veteran guy to have in the locker room. I think he's only like 28, 29. So he kind of fits in with the culture here. And I think kind of similar to what happens when we brought in Kemba is he's going to be excited to be on a winning team for once,
Oh, yeah.
So later in the deal, turns out that we got rid of Jeff Teague to the Magic, who is waived now, which is unfortunate, but Jeff Teague wasn't really doing it for us. But Evan Fournier off the bench is just a magnificent pickup.
Dude, I'll be honest. If the Knicks made a move, I wanted Lonzo Ball, but I know he would take a lot, and he's going to be a restricted free agent. So I think they did the right thing by holding off and chilling. No one else got him yet anyway, so it's whatever. But the other guy that I wanted was Fournier. If we made a move to get anybody, and the 2 future second-round picks and Jeff Teague, I think that's a steal for Boston, because I don't know the last time you've looked at Evan Fournier's basketball reference page, but he's actually averaging close to 20 points a game. I think it was 19.7 when I looked.
Yeah.
And shooting almost 40% from 3 on he's a high volume shooter as well. And I think he was at like 46, 47% from the field, and just overall very good player. And yeah, he'll probably be coming off the bench for Boston. And if he's having a hot night, it's hard to take Marcus Smart off the floor in crunch time. But Evan Fournier, you guys basically gave up nothing and got a legitimate guy who could help out. And you're also saying, all right, we're not gonna sell the farm just for this one season when our team's kind of underachieving. So
yeah, I think it's really nice, and I think since we play kind of a small ball lineup, it's going to. I mean, we'll see this guy play in the 3. You know what I mean? It pretty frequently, and
yeah,
it's nice because it's a competent move from Danny, and absolutely, like you just said, you didn't sell the farm for it. You got him dirt cheap, and all I really wanted to add was depth, and boom, you add depth. One player, he doesn't change your franchise, like I said, but he does give you that kind of boost offensively off the bench, and we have one of the worst benches in the league.
Yeah.
So overall for the Celtics, I don't want to be biased, but I'm gonna say that this gets an A from me. Dare I say A+, but that could be crazy. What do you think?
I'm going to give it an A-. And the thing is, just this deal alone, I would give probably an A, borderline A+. Fantastic move, but I think just the fact that Ainge had some sign and trades on the table and even could have worked some things out and was just like, you know what, I'll take the $28 million trade exception, and then didn't do a lot really with it.
So if I can clarify what the deal with I don't know if you're aware, but you can use it in the off season, which it was brought to my attention that's actually when it will be most effective in the off season. So it's a $28 million. No, it's a year from when, right? So basically he has until the day that Gordon was traded, and in the off season for some reason, like, it becomes like if we were to use it right now, we'd only have $20 million to use it right now. But if we wait till the off season, we get to use the full trade exception. Mm-hmm. I'll need a fact check on that.
Interesting. I did read an article on the on like the whole deal with the trade exception. It was more of just which players could fit under the cap or which couldn't.
Yes. So
I think these guys you might have even been able to. The guys you added might have even just been with cap space. All right, if that's the case.
So that is the case. So if I can confirm here, the $28.5 million trade exception is good for 1 calendar year. So meaning we can use it for the first 3 weeks into the 2021 free agency.
Yeah. So, all right, that's not bad. That's not bad.
So now here's what I was.
I'll give it an A.
Sorry, here's what I was talking about. Since Boston's payroll is already at $117 million, that means Boston could only use $21 million of that $28 million. But when free agency rolls around, that will clear up that extra $6 million. I think it was in like dead tax or something. So that way, we'll be able to use the full $28 million.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's
All right,
long-winded, but I just wanted to make sure that was...
No, absolutely.
clear.
We are all about the truth and only the whole truth on this show.
That's it.
So I'll bump that up to an A, and then for the Magic, I mean, B, maybe even B minus.
I think that I'm going to give them a C. They could have gotten a lot more for Evan Fournier. I don't know. They could have gotten something.
Dude, they should have gotten maybe even Romeo Langford. I don't know what his deal is. He's like away from the team right now. Maybe something like that.
Yeah, he was been injured. He had like surgery and stuff. But
yeah, or even just somebody.
And I guess Danny said that we're like it's likely that we'll be able to re-sign him, Evan Fournier. So I'm happy with that.
I think you're gonna like Fournier. He's a very, very good player.
I'm excited, because I'm not expecting too much, but I think I'm expecting just enough from him.
Yeah.
Let's see if there are any other.
We could just like run down a couple of these.
Yeah,
I do like that. I like the Dallas trade, getting Redick and Melly, two very good shooters.
Yeah, but the thing is, they bought him out. I don't know if you.
Who?
I'm pretty sure JJ Redick is going to get bought out.
No, are you kidding me?
And I want you to guess where he's going to go.
Wait, if JJ Redick got bought out,
I think that's what I
don't
saw.
Like this. I just saw. I haven't seen anything. 2 days ago, it said Mavs newly acquired JJ Redick, progressing after heel procedure, no timetable to join team. So if he just had a heel thing, he's probably not going to get bought out. I know he was almost going to get bought out by the Pelicans. Everyone thought he was going to get bought out, and then he got traded.
Okay.
But, I mean, Melly and Redick, two lights-out shooters, so I think they're just like, all right, we'll surround Luka with as many shooters as possible. Let's not worry about defense. Let's just try to outscore everybody.
No, totally.
Shoot everybody and see what we do.
That was a great move by them. You really do need to add shooters because of Luka's kick or drive and kick kind of abilities. And really, they only had to give up James Johnson, who was always kind of a goon for them anyway, and Wes Iwundu and Cash. So I think Dallas won that trade.
Yeah. As long as Redick doesn't get bought out, I give Dallas, honestly, A for that trade. Pelicans, B, whatever.
So Clippers deal Lou Williams to the Hawks for Rondo. This was kind of bizarre. I feel like the Clippers have really fallen apart this year. I mean, it's crazy.
They needed. We've talked about how they needed a point guard. I guess nothing progressed for Lowry. Nothing even for. They tried to throw their hat in the ring for Lonzo Ball, but they just don't have the assets for something like that.
I don't know. It's crazy because Lou Williams is like huge for them. I thought. I mean, off the bench, he can give you 15, 20.
I know Lou isn't having the best season this year. He kind of got off to a weird start, but.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, they also had to give up 2 second-rounders, which means that they're saying
Reggie Jackson.
Yeah, he doesn't make any sense. But the Clippers are then saying, okay, Rondo is worth a Lou Williams and 2 picks, so I don't know. I was like, oh, wow. I think that, I don't know. I guess I'm honestly going to say that Atlanta won that trade.
I probably will too. Rondo, he had some injuries. He wasn't really doing too well. Like, I thought that was a really good signing when it happened because they need another ball handler besides Trae Young, and it just wasn't working out. But they kind of, I think, just tricked the Clippers. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't, and just being like, playoff Rondo. You guys want playoff Rondo, right? Yeah, playoff Rondo. Yeah, we'll take Lou Williams and 2 picks for playoff Rondo.
You know what's crazy is I didn't realize this, but Lou Williams had played on Atlanta. I totally forgot about that.
I remember Lou Williams being on Atlanta.
2012, 2013 to 14. That's funny. I just had forgot that. Like I said, I guess if I had to just put it as a win and a loss, I'm going to say that the Hawks won this trade.
Yeah, I think, okay, fine trade for both teams. Yeah, I'd say maybe like B plus Hawks, B Clippers.
So this one was another one that was kind of close to my heart. The Bulls get Tice from the Celtics in a 3-team deal.
I was surprised, dude. I really thought that you guys liked Tice a lot.
Yeah, and we did. I do. I mean, I know a lot of my friends and family like Tice. It really. So we got rid of Javonte Green too. He's like a high flyer. I like him. It's too bad.
He's like fine. He's one of those guys where like he's on the team for 2 years. And you're like, dude, I like this guy. Like, why did we trade
totally
him?
Right.
But I'm just like, dude, Javonte Green throw in. No, but I've watched some Celtics games where he's half decent.
And so for that, we got Luke Cornett and Mo Wagner. Like I told Al on a previous podcast, on the one that we were talking about who we would get from each team, I had said that I wanted Luke Cornett from the Bulls, literally just because he was big and could shoot the ball. So,
Yeah.
of course, what does he do in his first Celtics game? He comes in and nails his first 2 threes. It was just really funny.
I heard he looked good. A lot of
Yeah,
Knicks
it
fans
was just
like-
one of
we-
those things. Nobody expected anything from him. So,
We liked Luke Cornett. He was kind of like Dollar Tree Porzingis,
yeah.
but we liked him. He's honestly lights out shooter, and he could block some shots. Those are basically the only two things he's bringing to the table. I know he's 7'1". He's not really playing in the paint.
Right.
He's not a team you're building like your offense around, but a good solid role player. And then Wagner's he could stretch the floor a little too, but he's a little bit more of a he could bang in the post a little bit more than Cornett. So you get like two like younger-ish players, two not like washed up vets, you know what I mean? You get like two younger players to just throw onto that rotation and see what they can do.
Yeah, and the thing is, they're not really expensive. I guess that's really why we did it, because we
very
freed up.
inexpensive.
Yeah, we
yes.
freed up some money with Daniel Tice. I think we were going to try to pursue Drummond or LaMarcus on the buyout market, but that didn't end up working out. So whatever, man. We'll just take two guys into the whatever and see how it goes.
Yeah, and I mean the Bulls, they give up Daniel Gafford, he's okay. Hutchinson.
I would have
mean,
liked him, but yeah,
Gafford.
I would have taken him. Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty good defensively. He's like a big dude. I mean Hutchinson, he was out of Boise State. I liked him in college, but I mean he hasn't been too much to write home about yet.
There was one final trade that we didn't talk about, a big trade.
It's Big Vucevic.
Oh,
I totally had forgot about this, and it was honestly down in this article. But so the Bulls get Vucevic and Al-Farouq Aminu, and the Magic get Wendell Carter Jr., Otto Porter, and 2 future first-round picks. So this is a big deal. Otto Porter, big contract. Wendell Carter Jr., young center. So, and then the Bulls get like an all-star. You know what I mean?
They do. They have 2 all-stars on that team now. It went from, let's see what haul they can get for Levine to, we have 2 all-stars to build around now. They're not that young, but we got 2 of them.
Exactly. And in like the struggling East, where basically it is not very hard to buy your ticket into the playoffs. You know what I mean? It's getting harder, but
It's getting harder. The East is becoming more competitive
yes,
within itself.
exactly, within itself. I mean, if any of these teams were going to play out West, they'd probably get killed, but you're right. It is getting more competitive within the ecosystem. So, I mean, already there I think, if Vucevic only played like 1 game and had like 21 points, 9 boards. This was somebody I really wanted.
I know,
But I guess
I was calling for you guys to try to get him for so long.
I
guess
know.
you look at the haul. Look
Yeah.
at the haul, and that was a great haul for the Magic.
Yeah, they did pull that off because he is a great player. He's a great consistent player. And I think, I like that the Bulls got him. I think that the Bulls are really interesting now.
For sure.
With
I mean,
I don't know how I don't think Lauri Markkinen's really doing anything, but honestly,
apparently he almost got dealt to the Wizards.
really.
I don't know what would have happened, but apparently he almost got dealt.
That's
I
interesting,
think-
isn't it?
And Markkinen's a pretty good player. I just think the Bulls might not be the right team for him. I think the Bulls will likely not be playing very much defense. I mean, they're a Kobe White, if he comes back in the starting lineup, terrible. One of the worst defensive guards in the league. Levine, okay if he wants to be, you know what I mean? But he's taking on so much of the scoring load. He's not really locking anyone down. Patrick Williams, fantastic. One of the best young defenders in the league. And then you got Markkanen, who he could block shots, but besides that, not playing defense. And then Vucevic, who is big, but not that mobile. So,
I mean, frankly, Markkanen's putting up like 17 and a half a game, and if Vucevic can put up 20 and Zach LaVine can put up 25, I mean, that's three quarters.
It's going to be a hard team to match up with defensively. There's going to be a lot of guys to worry about.
Yeah, I don't want to say they have their own big three here, but honestly, adding Tice,
They
is
did
going to
get
be
Tice,
really
yeah.
nice for them. Just to be honest, I mean, to have that backup 4 or 5, however they use him, but he's somebody that really worked well in a system, and he could score the ball, he could shoot the three. So they definitely bumped up their offensive potential with this.
Absolutely. I think their offensive potential is really sky high. And it's going to... And, I mean, they have a pretty good coach there, too. They have Billy Donovan.
Yeah.
I was trying to think. I know they used to have, like, Hoiberg and the other guy. They have they're well-coached team now.
Yeah, Billy
So-
Donovan made the playoffs the year they fired him, so
Yeah.
with that Thunder team, so
So I think I like this team for both. I say it's. I mean, the Bulls you got to pay to play. You know what I mean? So they gave up a lot, but they got a good player. The Magic Hall. I mean, Otto Porter probably going to get bought out. I like Otto Porter. I think if you don't look at his contract, Otto Porter's a solid player. I mean, but 2 firsts and Wendell Carter Jr. That's a good haul. The only thing is, he'll probably be their center going forward now. But he's been injury prone, hasn't been that great. And then I think Mo Bamba, I don't even know what to say. Like, them bringing back Vucevic and not committing to Mo Bamba, that kind of ruined his development. And then you bring Wendell Carter in, so he'll be able to start right away. But it's kind of still a weird logjam of... It's just a weird hodgepodge of players on that Magic team right now. They're just... I don't even know what to think. If I looked at that roster, I don't even know what it is.
yeah. I mean, they're just waiting on it. That's really what it comes down to.
Terrence Ross is just like, now I do what I want.
Yeah,
now
exactly.
I do what I want.
They could just have fun now.
Yeah, exactly.
which is kind of nice. You really can't have fun when you have. Seriously though, if you have like enough like 10 games ago with Aaron Gordon and Vucevic and Fournier, and that people expect things from you. You really can't have fun playing the game. Every night, okay, when you're losing, it's really sucks, and you made the playoffs last year or whatever. But now they can just kind of chill and get like a decent draft pick. This is going to be a decent draft. So, and then they get 2 future firsts from the Bulls. So, and the Bulls are not good.
And
so.
the Bulls aren't that great.
No.
These Bulls picks could have value, dude. If this thing tanks,
Yep.
if they blow up the team, those picks are going to have value. You know what? I might even almost venture to, just because of that, the Magic might have won this trade.
Yeah.
I'm going to say there's a
that's interesting.
60% chance that the Magic won this trade.
Wow. That's very interesting. Yeah, because, I mean, where are the Bulls going,
Exactly. No, you know what? Where are they going?
I mean, really, they traded. I don't know how
So
great
we're
Wendell.
talking ourselves into this being a great deal for the Bulls. Look at this offensive potential. And they were like, they won't guard nothing.
Yeah.
They're not going anywhere. And they gave up 2 first-round picks. And now their they have no cap space.
And I don't know, they really kind of moved off Wendell Carter Jr. pretty quick.
Oh,
Who
yeah.
knows? Who knows what he could have been? Right now, I mean, he's
Absolutely.
only averaging, 10 and 8, but you give a guy like that time. You drafted him really high, didn't they?
I think so. He was like 7th or 8th overall. I'm going to say
Yeah.
8th overall. Like, I think right before we took Knox.
I don't know. It's all relative, isn't it?
Do you want to talk real quick about Norman Powell to the Blazers?
Okay, sure. I don't like Norman Powell. I don't really like him.
You don't like
No,
Norman
I don't.
Powell?
I don't really care for him.
Dude, I actually do like
I really
Norman
don't
Powell.
like the Raptors, though. I really don't like
I
them.
understand.
So
I understand.
yeah, so that's where that's coming from. I don't really care for him too much, but for the Raptors again, Gary Trent and Rodney Hood out of that was pretty good. I thought.
I think Gary Trent is great. I think Gary Trent is a restricted free agent, if I'm not mistaken. And then Rodney Hood's a pretty good player too. I know he had the Achilles thing. I thought that was going to be a much better signing for the Blazers than it was, but they're not a bad haul. I guess exactly, just like I said with Vucevic, like you got to pay to play. Gary Trent is a good young player, dude. He's good. And the Raptors, I don't think are really going anywhere anymore. But Powell, I don't know what to think. It's always been the Blazers, like, Dame needs more help. And it's like, CJ McCollum's probably, besides his injury, having the best year of his career.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of still feels like it would be nice if they could compile some of these players that are decent and get, like, another really good guy. But, I mean, Lillard, McCollum, Norman Powell gives you almost 20 points a game this year. It's such a good scorer. I mean, that's, like, he's not going to be the greatest defender, not locking anyone down. He's not really going to be he's not going to be, like, setting up the offense off the bench. He's just going to get buckets, and he'll be able to make some spot up threes as well. I think the Blazers, I've always, like, been calling that they need more. They just need more guys to make that team better. And I think getting Carmelo for essentially nothing definitely made that team better. And now getting Norman Powell, I know giving up Gary Trent definitely hurts, and Rodney Hood wasn't doing too much there. I think, like, Norman Powell is good, dude. I'm telling you, he's good. And
well, we'll see.
They kind of they low-key have a good collection of players there. If they're going to make it work with Terry Stotts, we'll see. Like, it's probably, I could see it getting to the playoffs where it's going to be like, all right, Dame, let's bail us out. Dame time. Let's bail us out in the fourth quarter again. Or if he's having an off night, all right, CJ, go chuck us back into this game. But we'll see. We'll see.
I want to talk about a couple big buyouts that ended up happening. So
Yes, please.
by this point, everybody knows Andre Drummond has signed with the Lakers, and that, what was the other guy? LaMarcus Aldridge is signed with the Nets. Are there any other big buyouts that I'm missing?
I don't think so.
I mean, those are two massive ones.
Not any, like, big buyouts.
Right. But I don't know. That's very interesting. I know we were in the running to get Andre Drummond. I think we were technically one of his top destination.
I'm sorry. If you make an article like this, like, you have to list the guys. I don't want you to say centers, guards. I feel bad. Whoever wrote that article, I'm sure it's a good article, but, like, come on, dude, make it concise.
You sound like an old man.
I am an old man.
Look, so Andre Drummond ends up on the Lakers. I honestly don't think that's okay, it's a great signing. It would have been a great signing for a team like Boston.
Dude, exactly. I don't care about Andre Drummond to the Lakers at all. I don't.
Yeah. To me, that does not do it, because now you're the second best big man on that team. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're not even the best big man on that team. So if he would have came to Boston, he would have been the only big man on the team.
And that would have been a good signing, because as long as Brad Stevens is like, listen, you shoot 47% from the field and 99% of your shots come from the paint. All right. You're not going to be the focal point of this team. Just get 16 rebounds a game. We'll give you some post touches. Okay. We promise. But as long as you know you're not the guy, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Like,
this, to me, I don't know. I don't want to say those are two irrelevant signings. Like LaMarcus going to the Nets, he could have been impactful on the Heat. He could have been impactful on the Heat. I was like, damn, if he goes to the Heat, like, that's going to kind of suck. And then he went to the Nets, and I'm like, okay, that doesn't mean anything, because now it's just like make-believe. Now he's just going to go get lost.
The Nets literally are make-believe. The Nets are also so frustrating, dude. The whole, if you ask me, dude, the whole league has just gotten down on, I don't know. I don't even know what they're doing.
It's kind of gone to shit, if I'm going to be honest.
They're letting dude, everything was, oh, look, all the league has these duos. Kawhi signed with the Clippers. Now the league has parity. And then the Nets just ruined it. And I know they're just trying to build the best team they possibly can. You know
but
what I mean?
that's not the game, though. That's not the game, is to build the best team that you can.
It's so annoying, dude. Like, honestly, I hate them with a burning passion, and this just makes it worse.
Like, you know what sucks, dude? Is I have to root for them. If they make it to the finals and they're playing the Lakers, I have to root for them, because I can't let the Lakers win.
I don't plan on watching very much of that finals, if that's what it is.
I don't either.
I don't care, dude.
And and to be honest, you can't say to me with a straight face that is because of LeBron. You know how some people will try to make believe that because LeBron went to Miami almost 10 years ago, that now all of a sudden there are 5 players There are 6 players on the Brooklyn Nets with over 40 All-Star appearances.
Dude, it's disgusting.
Like you can't tell me that. Like because LeBron went to play with Chris Bosh, who was good, and Dwayne Wade was good. But their next guy was Norris Cole. Like they had Norris Cole in the starting lineup.
That team had 3 guys. That team had, I don't care what anybody says, that team literally had 3 players, and everybody else was veteran minimum. I swear to God. I remember them hyping up Mario Chalmers. I remember them hyping up Norris Cole. Eventually, they got Ray Allen, all right? Ray Allen. He was like another NBA player.
Dude, but I mean, I don't know. I don't like this Nets team. I don't like what they're doing. Even when they had Kyrie, Harden, and Durant. It's like, okay, if that's all they had, but then they have Joe Harris on a $20 million contract.
And I don't know how it makes sense.
I don't get it.
I'm not a cap expert, but it's just something seems fishy. It just seems like the league has just bowed down to the Nets, and the league has been like, oh, you know what? Whatever.
You know what it is, dude?
We'll give you LaMarcus. We'll give you Blake.
They think that shit's fucking funny, dude. I'm telling you that right now. They think it's fucking hilarious. They think it's so funny that like they could be like, oh, ESPN gets to post like, oh my God, look at this super team, LaMarcus Aldridge. They think it's hilarious, dude.
LaMarcus Aldridge.
Yeah. They just eat that shit up. You know why, dude? Because they could not put, oh wow, the Nets acquired Terrence Ferguson. They couldn't put that shit on a fucking T-shirt and sell it. They can't, but they can say LaMarcus Aldridge. That's so stupid, dude.
Dude, you know what's disgusting? It's just so disgusting that all these teams can work so tirelessly to put like these teams together, and you're working out these deals. Yeah. Exactly. These people are crafting these deals, and they get for literally the league minimum. Yeah. The league minimum. I know LaMarcus Aldridge is older, and especially Blake Griffin, and Blake can't play like himself anymore. But these, especially Blake and Harden, dude, pretended they were washed up and like have these injuries that didn't exist so that they could force their way to the Nets. And now LaMarcus Aldridge is like, yeah, I'll sign with the Heat. And he's like, wait, it would be kind of, actually, I would probably get more mentions on Instagram from Bleacher Report and everyone photoshopping my shit if I go to the Nets. And he's like, dude, it's just so disgusting how you get a player. He was in the All-Star game, what, 2 or 3 years ago, Aldridge?
2 years ago.
At his age, he's doing what? Like he's probably doing like 14-8. I know he's not that good, and the NBA's kind of progressed a little bit past. No, you know what? Player,
I'm going to tell you why that's
not competent starting level player. They get a starting level player for the fucking minimum, dude.
I'm going to tell you why that doesn't apply. Why, okay, he was getting old. He wasn't playing well. I'm going to tell you why that shit doesn't apply. Because when he's on this Spurs team and he's like, you know what? It's hot here and I don't like it anymore. So I'm not going to play basketball at the same efficiency. Like, I'm just not going to play the same basketball that I've always played. He's like, I'm just going to fucking be bad now. So that way you have to trade me. And then, like, remember, oh my God, this is what got to me. This is really what did it for me.
I'm loving this right now.
So the whole thing with Blake Griffin, right, was like he hasn't dunked since 2019. Did you ever see that?
Yes.
Okay. Right. So he's on the Pistons and he doesn't dunk for 2 years. And it's crazy. And they're like, when do you think Blake will dunk next? As soon as he gets in a fucking Brooklyn Nets uniform, he's on Bleacher Report. He's on ESPN fucking hanging from the rim, grabbing his balls in some dude's face. Like he's all of a sudden like out of nowhere.
Dude, there was the first game he like did a pump fake from the 3-point arc and some dumbass bid on it and he drives the lane and dunked. And I was like, dude, you were not doing that in a Pistons uniform.
Oh my God. So it's like,
and then, he had the audacity. This dude had the audacity. They played the Pistons the other night and it was like a close game. And Blake has like a dunk. It might have been an alley-oop or something like that from Harden. And then he's running down on defense and he's chirping the Pistons bench. Like, shut the fuck up.
That's embarrassing.
Dude. You quit on that team and you had time left on that contract. You quit and you dunked. You signed with the fucking super team and you have the audacity to be chirping.
Yeah,
Blake,
that's
you've literally never won anything in your career. Back when you were a superstar, you blew a 3-1 lead in your best chance to win anything.
Oh my God.
And then with the Pistons, dude, you were supposed to be the man on the Pistons. And you were okay.
You know what's hilarious, dude, is he's chirping He's chirping this Pistons bench, and his teammate put up 44.
Dude, if Harden wants to, Harden was never on them.
Yeah, and it's like Harden said, like, so Blake's like, yeah, like, whatever. He had 17, one, 2 assists, 3 rebounds, whatever. Like, he had like a decent like little game for himself. But he was like, yeah, like my big brother's gonna do all the work, and I'm just gonna do all the talk. Like Harden had put up 44. 8 assists, 14 rebounds, like just out of his mind. 12 of 14 from the free throw line, and Blake is the one that's chirping the Pistons. Dude, could
stop.
not. That is so funny.
They didn't trade you when you loved their thing. They weren't bad in the locker room. You quit on them, and you were being the asshole.
To me, like I don't know. I don't think you should just be able to, as a player, just like void your contract whenever you feel like it.
Dude, come on.
And I'm a big fan of, go play where you want. But there's within reason, right? So if the Nets would have had a big 3, so be it. But though the rest of those guys need to be people that you've never heard of. The rest of the guys on that team. But it's not. Instead, it's like people that voided their contract and then went to play there just so they can win. I don't know.
I'm tired.
That has to have an asterisk. I've never before said that a title should have an asterisk. I think that that they should have a title asterisk next to like LaMarcus, Blake Griffin, not DeAndre Jordan. He was there. He earned it. Like he was there when they sucked. No, he was there when they sucked.
DeAndre Jordan was not there when he sucked. He was on the Knicks. He was on the Mavs, and then he was on the Knicks, dude.
Okay.
He was not on the Nets.
You're right.
In fact,
it was the other New York team.
He was on the Knicks, and then he jumped ship to the Nets.
Yeah. You know what I'm going to say then?
That's where they said they wanted to sign. No.
You know what I'm going to say then? Asterisk.
Slither.
Asterisk for him.
Massive asterisk all around, dude.
Oh, that really...
I hope they don't win so bad. I'm sorry. Like
it's just annoying because
I also hate the Lakers. Like if the finals isn't Nets Lakers, I really promise you I won't complain with how the season turns out unless if the Knicks make the playoffs, I will guaranteed lose years off the end of my life because they're not going to win the finals. As much as I would love them to win the finals, they're just not that level yet. So we're going to lose, and it's going to take years off of my life. So I'll already be complaining about that, but I know that's 99.99% of the chance of what's going to happen. Dude, but if I have to watch Nets Lakers, dude, no.
I don't know. Tell me why at 31 you can try to pull the old man card. Blake Griffin's 31. Like, how can you be like, I'm an old man?
Dude, Stephen Curry just turned 33, and he's reemerged himself into MVP talks. LeBron's, 36?
Yeah, he's 36.
And he was in the MVP race. You're 31, and you're washed all the way up?
Look, I know it's like the common thing, I guess, to hate these guys. And it's like, I don't know. It just annoys me that they can... At any point. I don't care
if it's the cool thing to hate these guys. It's just so annoying.
No, it is really annoying. And I wish that I didn't. I wish that it wasn't annoying. I wish that players like really served out their contract. Because, right? So now that makes me think like, okay, we just signed Jaylen Brown. Like, is all of a sudden in a year or 2 years, he's going to be like, you know what? I don't want to be the second guy behind Tatum. Like, I want out. So then what? We're just going to have to trade him? Is that just how it works?
It's become so player driven. And like the thing is, like, if you're one of the 10 legitimate Net fans who have been diehard since their team was Jordan Farmar and Derek Favors, okay, sure. But, like, I have so many bandwagons. It's like, whatever. If you've been watching this whole time and now you have a super team, like, whatever. Honestly, good on you. Like, whatever. Congratulations. But it's become such a player-driven league, and it's like everyone's just bowing down. Like the Rockets giving up James Harden and not backing down their stance was terrible for the league. Terrible.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, you always see like, oh, they can have this, but Kobe couldn't have Chris Paul. It's like no. That was David Stern. He was trying to prevent that. Dude, but Adam Silver and
it's because the league owned the Hornets at that time, so they were essentially David Stern was like the owner. So he's like, all right, this trade technically isn't fair, and that's why they were able to veto a trade. You know
I
what
didn't
mean?
even know that, honestly.
Yeah, no, that's why that happened. If not, I mean that the Chris Paul trade was definitely fairer than the James Harden trade, but it's because of the fact that the NBA owned the Hornets, and a lot of people think they rigged that lottery because the NBA owned the Hornets and everything like that. That somebody, in order to sell the team, they rigged the lottery as like a thank you to get them Anthony Davis.
Interesting. I don't
Just
know.
a
I guess that
fun conspiracy.
I burned off some steam there, but that's I guess really how I felt about it. And what's crazy is this whole time we haven't said anything about Drummond because it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter nearly as much.
I don't care. He shoots 47%.
Yeah,
from the field, and
he's
he
like
takes layups and dunks. Like I don't care.
they just got like a way worse Anthony Davis. Like right, you know what I mean?
It's like their best lineups, even if Anthony Davis doesn't like playing the center, is with Davis playing the center. So now it's like, all right, Anthony Davis, you can go back to playing power forward. All right, LeBron, you can play small forward. Like I literally don't care. Like sure, if some teams don't have size,
He could have
they
made
might
a
struggle
difference.
with that. But the Lakers would probably beat them anyway.
He could have made a difference on a different team. Like Blake Griffin could have made a difference on another team. LaMarcus could have made a difference on another team. But like over there, they're just like a stone in the ocean. You know what I mean? Like you just like, but they really could have made something of themselves. Like they could have maybe, I don't want to say revitalized their career, but they could have kind of put a different narrative on themselves. Like, oh, okay, like Andre Drummond went to the Celtics, and then they, instead of being a first round exit or something, they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals and they almost won. Like, you know what I mean? They took the Nets to 7 or something. You know, LaMarcus Aldridge went to the Heat and instantly they were better offensively, something like that. But now instead it's just like, oh, okay.
Dude, it's like I don't want to see everyone signing with the same two teams.
Yeah, anybody that thinks that is what, like even KD did, because that's not what KD did. KD went to an established team, which is fine. It sucked back then. No. It sucked. No, listen.
I can't sit on this show and defend. I know.
Here's the thing:
we
is it
talked
sucked
about the whole big three.
back then?
I absolutely can't defend that one either.
Okay, it sucked back then, but what if back then, you know, same thing were to happen? The point is that 3 more, I guess 2 more, like washed, but like not really washed players have added on it. Like nobody added on to that Golden State team other than KD. He went to an already formed team, you know, and they gave up stuff for him. But here, I mean, they're not giving up anything. This is way worse than when KD went to Golden State. Do you agree?
Oh, I feel like we could do a whole episode on that. I do not agree. I think Durant ruined the league, but also this whole phenomenon is also kind of ruining the league. It really is. Like,
interesting.
It's bullshit. It's bullshit that 1 or 2 teams can have an entire monopoly on the players on the buyout market.
Even talking about that, I mean, I just saw today Austin Rivers got bought out. He's going to the Bucks, and it's like, well, how about small business gets something like that?
Should have picked him up. Honestly, there's something about the Utah Jazz that he just shows up to play against them.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just like,
though.
man, if you're like a mid-level team like the Celtics, or I mean, honestly, even like Philly or something like that, it's like we don't get those guys. You know what I mean?
No.
And you guys are on the up and coming. Like you won't get those guys.
I know that's the thing. I know the Knicks were linked to Drummond. I didn't want any part of him. Even Mitch just broke his foot last night, and I'm honestly very upset about that. Still didn't want Drummond. I just think he thinks his type of player isn't obsolete in the NBA, and like he needs to either reinvent himself or he needs to be able to play more to his role. And I think it's
he embarrassed
too late
himself
in the season for either of those 2 teams. Yeah, honestly.
I'm sorry, he embarrassed himself. Like LaMarcus already did the walk of shame. Blake Griffin did the walk of shame. But like you tried to be different, but not different enough. Like you know what I mean?
Oh my God. Exactly. You could have signed with any 28 other teams. I guess technically you couldn't sign with the Cavs. So any 27 other teams.
God,
you just didn't do it. Dude, you know who I hope goes somewhere and balls? I know you don't really like this guy. Jabari Parker.
I like him. I have no problem with him. I saw he got waived.
Yeah, it's the Kings just stopped playing him, and I think I think he's going to be motivated. I know, like, he'll never live up to that potential before he had the 2 ACLs, but I think he's going to be a motivated player, and he'll just be able to be a scorer off the bench. That's basically what he's providing at this point. But I don't know. I've always liked Jabari Parker. I hope he goes somewhere and just plays well.
Best wishes for him.
Really, yeah, absolutely. And Hassan Whiteside, too. He was another guy. The Kings just stopped playing him.
I'd take him.
I think
I want to say that about everybody because I would take everybody. I really would. We freed up 3 roster spaces.
Dude, we
Actually,
have 2
one
right
left.
now.
We have 1 left.
We have 2. We waived. I kind of wanted to keep Poirier.
I don't know why you didn't take Terrence Ferguson. He was actually
Dude, Terrence Ferguson's garbage.
Really?
Garbage. Oh, my God. He averages less than a point per game, and he's supposed to be 3-and-D. He doesn't do any of that. And he has a rape lawsuit from over the summer, too. So I wanted him nowhere near my team. Very happy we waived him. He's, like, not good at basketball anymore either. I don't know what happened.
On that note,
we gotta end this show on a different note, I think. Anyway, if I would like the Knicks to get maybe Otto Porter. I like Otto Porter, but I don't think we've talked to him.
well, unfortunately, Al, if his ass gets bought out, he's going to the freaking Nets. So
Yep, you know what? He definitely will be. Definitely will.
he
be
seems
on the
like that
Nets.
kind of guy, doesn't he?
You know who else I think is going to end up on the Nets? I think Jeff Teague.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. I think him. You know what? Honestly, the Lakers could use him. It's like, isn't it stupid that like
two
now
of
you
them,
have to
dude.
feel bad for the Lakers? Like you have to be like, oh,
Yo,
like I feel bad.
that's the thing is Jeff Teague had All-Star appearances, so he'll go to the Lakers or the Nets. But somebody else like Otto Porter who doesn't have any, maybe he'll get creative and go to the Bucks. Yeah, why not? I don't even know where Porter would fit on the Knicks.
You know what's funny is the Jazz are still at the top of this like tower, but I mean, really have not done that.
Everybody knows that they're not gonna.
No, they won't. But it's just funny because nobody's going to the Jazz.
The only guy's Ersan Ilyasova, and I texted you that when they got Ersan Ilyasova, that's like a rite of passage to knight yourself as a contender to sign him for the rest of the season.
That's funny.
They need one more. They need another guy. Even if they're not serious, even if they don't make the finals or anything like that, if they're serious about being a contender, you got to be able to bring in some dudes, or else you're just not serious.
On that note, buddy, I think it's about that time.
I think so.
Well, thank you everybody for listening. Sorry it got a little heated in the middle there, but it's important.
You did drag on a little bit, but I hope you guys enjoyed. I think it was some good content.
That being said, look out for our next upcoming episodes. Turn on that notification bell so that way you can always get notified when we do put one out.
Absolutely. And make sure you're checking out our other podcasts as well.
Yes.
Very good stuff all over the channel.
Yep, very good stuff. We got a lot of shows coming out. So, yeah, exactly. Be sure to check back and see what we got in store. So, thanks, everybody, for listening, and have a good one.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Rock and Joe. Rock and Joe. Rock and Joe. Rock and Joe. Rock and Joe.